Okay, there it is. Greetings and welcome. Thanks for stopping by here on YouTube Live at The Real Bloom from Within Love. I go by Bloomy. And I hope that you all are having a, let's see, tingly, tasteful, truthful Thursday, wherever you are on the globe. I just want to send my shout outs and love and light to my returning subscribers and viewers that are on that high vibe energy. I just want to say I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. And I'm just wishing you all on your journey. And to the new subscribers and followers, that's the high vibe energy, I want to welcome you and thank you for being a part. And I hope you're able to find something suitable for you here. And anything that you need to know about me should be listed in the description box. Now, all right, you guys, this is just a mini preview to the top 11 tactics of karmics, okay? I was guided to share this based on my experience, based on my own research and things of that nature, and just my guidance. And the reason why I'm being guided to share it is because, you know, it's actually more common than most of us think, okay? And when I say karmics, when you hear Bloomy say karmics, she is referring to individuals that are, in some cases, most of them are narcissistic, okay? On some level, not all of them, okay, but most of them are. And here's why I say that. The 3D based template, you guys, is it is hardwired with the narcissistic, outdated energy. So this is why most karmics have a tendency to be on some level narcissistic, okay? Not all of them are like clinically diagnosed. Not all of them are on a severe spectrum of it, but it just means that they are governed by the lower mind, okay? They're not awakened, they're not ascending, they're not healing. They have no interest in that. They With the exception, you do have the spiritual karmics and religious karmics, okay? Spiritual karmics and religious karmics are only utilizing that based on appearance and a 3D and an image and a title and things of that nature that they want to accomplish. But in terms of true essence, soul energy, heart energy, true, benevolent energy, okay, they really do not operate in that, okay? They give an appearance of it, okay? The spiritual ones or the religious ones, all right? And then you do have those that are not in either category, and they are usually of the darker energy, which would kind of resonate with those who practice like dark magic, voodoo, rituals, Luciferian, Satanism, you know what I'm saying? They're on that spectrum, okay? And, so they kind of like cling to that. Now, the individuals that cling to the latter, just like the other categories, they usually have a 3D facade, okay? Depending on what world they're navigating, their circle, their surroundings, they usually will have a 3D facade so that they can get in and infiltrate, so that they can win, you know what I'm saying, the trust of people and possibly get connected to those that are actually on divine paths, okay? So this is why I was guided to talk about that. And I'm going to actually have the top 11. And I'm going to go down a list of 11 different things that you can expect. If you're sitting and you're wondering, well, you know what I'm saying, for a person that's just awakening and starting their healing process and getting out of that, it can be very, it can be kind of a trip, you know what I'm saying? And so initially, one might not even know how to determine what from what, okay? We hear the term, in tarot community and on these ascension paths, doppelgangers. So what happens is those that are on an ascension path, or they came here for that reason, first and foremost, they're usually born into karmic families, okay? That's usually, okay? And as time went on, they probably accumulated karmic friends, okay? So when one is trying to wake up and cleanse and ascend, it's hard to tell what from what, because karmics are skilled at being doppelgangers, okay? So in other words, they copycat and mimic energy, okay, of those that are on divine paths. And it can be very hard to decode if you yourself are not that awakened or in the know, or if you're still, eyeballs deep in your own particular traumas and your own particular addictions, okay? I also want to share, because I get these questions often, and it's like karmic energies, hold on. Give me a second, guys. Okay, there you go. Thank you, team. So, like I said, I get these questions a lot. One thing I want to tell you guys, if you're on an ascension path, something that you need to just go ahead and accept. It'll be easier for you as you embrace this. Some karmics are aware that they're karmics. Other karmics, it is on a subconscious level, they know. Okay? And just like you, if you're ascending, they too search out ways to stay connected to divines, okay? They actually have obsessions with those that are on divine paths, okay? So depending on whatever it is your personality is like, or whatever you're into, or, it's always kind of critiqued in that way. So they're equally researching, they're equally seeking out information, they are equally getting, if it's tarot, they're equally getting tarot readings. If it's, they're doing all the things with the goal of essentially in some way either trying to stay attached to minds that have, removed themselves, healing and ascending, or those that they have managed to get through their addictions and spell work, how to keep them there, okay? So once you all accept that, that's also going to kind of help you understand what's happening in your world, okay? Another question that I get often from people is, people come on all the time, well, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know who's karmic? How do you know? Da, da, da. How do you know? How do you know? Because of all of this illusionary energy and this mimicking doppelganger, copycatty type energy, right? So first and foremost, this is why it's so important for you to continue to do your healing work and continue to connect to your heart and continue to ask your higher self, okay? That's the number one reason why it's important, okay? But if you're looking for the more tangible or more, down to earth or relatable things to be able to equate it to, okay? As you're sitting down, first and foremost, you have to be willing to get real with you, yourself, who you are, who you have been, right? What was that? Wow. What has been the tendency in your life? Not for judgment, not to like beat up on yourself, but this is going to point you in the direction in order to be able to determine what is what and who is who in your life, okay? So as you sit and you reflect on what your own things are, you guys hear me say all the time, what is your Achilles heel? Okay? What is your kryptonite? What is, all these things that have you in a pattern of life, right? That may feel good on some level, but as you look in retrospect, you see how it has either damaged your life or stagnated your life. Okay? So let me explain, because like I said, it's going to be different for all different types of karmics and divines, because everybody has different things. Okay? So let's say you just had a natural tendency in your life to, due to your own personal pain, your own personal trauma, your own personal, yada, yada. So as you went on, you had a tendency to be very hyper focused on money. Okay, maybe there was a lack, maybe there was a lot of loss, maybe, you were abandoned, maybe you were rejected, maybe you were left alone, maybe, like, as you reflect on all of that, it's going to point you to things that people will use, because the thing about karmic frequency, or those that are karmics, that is their ticket, you see. That is their ticket. This is how, at least it's how they initially get in, okay? Depending on the dynamics, they may try to play a role of so-called redemption, right? So-called awakening. These are also tactics and strategies, but karmics usually do not. If someone is your karmic, they will not suddenly become your divine. It just doesn't work that way, okay? A karmic is a karmic. Now, the way they come in is usually through the vulnerability, okay? If you're going through some type of a crisis in your life, okay, you'll magically see karmics appear, okay? You'll see divines appear as well. I'll talk about that on another video, okay? Because right now we're talking about decoding the karmics. So the karmics will appear, and they usually will come in your Achilles heel. So, like I said, if it's the money, if you've been one that you always wish that you were famous, you always wish that, you had admiration, of people. You always wish that, I want it all. Brand new socks and drawers. Whoop, 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 right? And, you felt like it just kept slipping through your hand, whatever. If it's, you have major addictions, how you were raised, what you were around, the kind of friends you grew up with. And, so they come with that. They're going to have all the get down you need, friend. Whoop. So they will, use that to get your defenses down, to get in with you, to get you to spend time with them, to get you to trust them, to get you to take your guards down with them. And some of them, depending on how toxic they are, they'll start like trying to roofie you and shit. If it's drugs, if it's alcohol, if it's, they'll start doing things, putting it in your food, putting it in your drinks, putting it in your stuffs, so that they can maintain control over you, okay? And now, the thing about how to be able to like really pick up on it is what I'm basically saying. Karmics have no desire to, they're not interested in one healing and one, being just and humane for all. And, they're not interested in that. Even if that's an image that they try to portray to people. They're going to cater to what keeps a person from awakening, what keeps a person from healing, what keeps a person from ascending, what keeps a person from truly transforming, okay? And it can be a little bit of a throw off, because when you have the more materialistic based karmics, to some it may look like, oh, well, that's somebody that is really wanting me to transform. Not necessarily. They want your money. They want your energy. Okay? Because when they're connected to divines, whether the divines know that they're divine or not, here's what's kind of ironic. Whether the divines themselves know that they're the divines yet or not, or while the divines are still going through their initial awakening or a healing process, the divines are still that. That's what they came as. They came with it. They didn't have to do a spell for it or pay for it, or they came with it, okay? And they're trying to work through their own traumas and issues and things of that nature. And so karmics want that energy, okay? Because in their mind, they think that by being connected to a divine, that they're going to be able to somehow usurp or reap the destiny or what is destined for the divines. But it just doesn't work like that. I'll do that on another video, okay? So they want the energy, right? And they will have an appearance of, let's build a life, let's, do this, this, and this, and this. But if you pay attention to the thing, pay attention. What's the highlight? What's the focus? Watch the person, watch their get down, watch their conversation. Watch how they are towards other humans, especially those of their own blood. Watch their surroundings. What do they talk about the most? Pay attention to the energy you feel. Because the materialistic karmic, that could come off to most like this is somebody who wants to go somewhere in life, and this is somebody who really got their shit together. And usually with most karmics, it's a little more to it than that, depending on the level of toxicity that they operate in. Because not all of them are. Not all of them are on that severe spectrum, okay? But some of them have done unmentionable things to get what they have, and you would never know it. Okay? And you're just looking at, okay, well, it seems like this, it seems like that, and they have, this group of people. Karmics usually have another group of karmics. Okay? They always have that. The flying monkeys, the entourages that is going to solidify and back up the things that they're saying. Okay, to convince divines of whatever it is that they're trying to sell. Okay. So that's a big one, because I do get that question a lot. That is a big one. This is why divines are called to step back at some point and stop over focusing on that, because if that's the focus, then you are going to be severely misled. Okay, because you don't know what they've done. You know what I'm saying? Until we get in that place where we are healing enough and connecting to the source enough, and you know what I'm saying, to where it gets a little bit more sharp. But you don't know. You don't know what they could have done. What laws they could have bypassed, what crimes could have been committed, what, rituals could have been practiced, and to what extent and degree. You don't really know. So it's like understanding that. I tell people this all the time, like, come on, man. If it was that simple, if things were really that simple in terms of trying to determine if somebody's healthy or whole or stable or not, if it were that simple, based on they have a job at business A, B, and C for 10 to 15 years, they have $30,000 in their savings, they have, the white picket fence, the blue shutters, the red door, and, a dog and 2.5 kids, or, They have, you know what I'm saying? It's like we act like we haven't seen, even in our own life experience, people with all these things, and yet they're on the news and motherfucker kill home dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and we look like, what? Because it's not about that. That doesn't equate an awakened soul, a healed soul, a benevolent soul. We forget that there is a such thing as corruption. Okay? It can be in a pretty package. You know, I used to talk about that little scene in The Matrix where the very first one, and Morpheus was trying to train Neo as he was awakening, and Neo's Achilles heel caused him to turn his head to look at this woman in a red dress that passed him. Okay, so the Matrix knew what Neo liked, right? So here she comes. And boy, he wasn't even paying attention to Morpheus no more. He didn't turn around. Morpheus came back and stopped. Neo turned to face Morpheus. Then Morpheus was like, look, and he turned right back around to the woman, and she had a gun to his head. The whole point of that was the whole essence of what I'm saying. Karmic energy appeals to our lower frequency. It appeals to the lower egoic mind, the more devil energy, the 3D base, right? In tarot, the major arcana, the devil, is representative of all things 3D. Okay, of course it represents Capricorn astrologically, but because Capricorns are said to rule the earth plane, right? But it's talking about the attachment, karmics, that lower energy, that toxicity, that codependency, attachment to the material world. So they appeal to that, okay? So if ever you all are wondering, okay, is this person always, every time you're trying to, just ask yourself, every time you think about changing your life, healing, cleansing, awakening, doing something different, whoa, who seemed to magically fall out the sky? Who seemed to magically call your phone? Who seemed to come over with all the weed? All of it. All the weed, the best weed ever created. Woo! Shit. All the weed, all the liquor. You heard me? A new Ponzi scheme and shit. Whoa. Or, you know, the pole spinner. No qualms, but y'all hear where I'm going. All of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, they in love. Here they come. Here they come. They know what your thing is, my friend. Yeah. Yeah. Why? They want the divine's energy, but also they want to transfer, okay? They want to block, stall, slow down, and delay the transformation of divines, okay? They also want, like I said, they want the divines to absorb, because this is one of the hardest lessons that most divines find out. And that is, as long as we are attached to karmic energy, it's hell. It's going to be hell. It's going to be a burden. It's going to have swings. It's going to be up and down. It's going to give an appearance of success, but at a price you didn't expect to have to pay. And then it's going to be, you know, the loss. Then it's going to be all these things. It's because the divines start to absorb the karma of the karmics by way of association, by a way of attaching, by a way of connecting, by way of sex, by way of still spending time. They're aware that there is a certain level of protection for divines. There's a certain level. And so it's almost kind of like they'll do their spell works, they'll do their fuck shit, they'll do their, you know what I'm saying, their interferences and all of that. And if they're still connected to the person, they won't really have to. The divine will actually read. So it's almost like it's a double robbery for the divine. Because not only, you know, are they absorbing the toxicity of that karmic, not only are they being slowed down and made, but now they're paying a penalty. Not only their own penalty for not following their higher guidance, but now they're paying the penalty of the actual karmics. What kind of shit is that? Now, when divines get to that awakening part right there, that's when divines start kicking in. Like, shit, fuck that. Deuce, this piece. And it's hard, you know, especially when the karmics happen to be friends and family, because it's not always the lovers. Okay, sometimes it's the friends and family, and then one has to sit back and go, oh wait, every time I'm dealing with this motherfucker, every time, okay? And sometimes these karmics, friends and family, on the cut, it's like some of them are jealous, okay? Some of them, especially, you know what I'm saying, first and foremost, if they benefit from the divine staying low vibrational, if they benefit, it's like, you guys got to look at it like humans don't like change anyway. But karmic humans, you know what I'm saying, don't want anyone to change, especially anyone that they feel like they have benefit from not changing. So they, you know, they'll either try to keep somebody codependent. Oh, look, I have a deal for you. Let's do this. Let's do that. And, you know, if it's a dude, let's do this, my nigga. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? I got this deal over here. We can do this. And you know what I'm saying? Whoop. We can go over here and get this spot. And you know what I'm saying? Whoop, 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 whoop. Because why? They want to keep a divine being tied to them in some way. Okay, now I'll share one more thing. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna share one more thing before I go, because I'm actually gonna come back later to do the top 11, because there's 11 specifically that I'm guided to share. Okay, but you know, I'm sharing this for my fellow, you know what I'm saying, my folks on this pathy path, right? And some of y'all may be in the earlier phases of it. And oh, how I wish I would have heard this kind of stuff when I first started waking up. But understand that karmic friends or family, associates, bosses, co-workers, clergy, yeah, I'm going there. Clergy, spiritualists, lovers, whomever, they will always be strategizing to sabotage. Understand that and accept it. The top 11 things is going to reveal more of the breakdown in their literal tactics, and to the degree that they actually go to in order to manipulate and trick divines into trusting them and thinking that they're pure and of light and good intentions, and thinking that the divines or the divines counterparts are, you know, the ones that are lower vibration or toxic or devilish, or, you know what I'm saying? And I was actually amazed at some of the things that was revealed, how sophisticated it gets. and to what degree. And to me, this is why it's important, because we're in 2022, and it's like, it ain't like the olden days, you see. In the olden days, you know what I'm saying, whoop, it was, you know, it was only so much, you know what I'm saying? Because they didn't have all of this and that and this and that, and, you know, it was kind of restricted. Okay, they had their trickeries, but it wasn't as sophisticated, right? Nowadays, with technology, the way we have it, you know, phones, laptops, iPhones, Google Voice, this and that, da da da, da da da. You know what I'm saying? All these things, you know what I'm saying? There's no length that some of these karmics won't go to in order to be able to be convincing, in order to come between counterparts. If the strategy is, if their goal and strategy is, we do not want them together, then they collaborate with fellow karmics, whether it be friends, shared friends, or family members. And some of them will even take it up a couple notches, like I said, corrupt spiritualists, right? In other words, sellouts, corrupt, you know what I'm saying? You know, clergy, things of that nature. They'll do that as well. They will, you know, distort and use anything at their disposal to further solidify. Okay? They will betray, karmics will betray their own family and friends. Okay? So they'll certainly betray you. And they will create technology. They will create and use anything that they have. If they have any facts on a divine, especially if they knew the counterparts, then they're going to use some of the truths, but then they're going to distort it. Okay? Then, yes, they will create profiles, you guys. Yes, they will use pictures. Yes, they will get other telephones and other Google Voice and this number and that number and pose as the other counterpart. Yes, they will create dating sites and all sorts of things and pay people or collab with communication. And if there was anything that they knew about things, and they're going to add elements in that, yes, this happens, to convince the other of something that's probably way to the left. And if we're not careful, if we're the type, due to our own pain and trauma because of what we've gone through, if we're not careful, we'll fall easily into these traps. So it's like, I've been sharing a lot about telltale signs and clues because, you know, in the process of you trying to unfold it all, then there are some very basic things you can look at. Okay? Start paying attention to people. Start actually listening. Like really, outside of the fun. See, this is the thing. Karmics are usually very fun. They're usually very they like a lot of attention. They probably like the nightlife. They're usually social, you know what I'm saying? And again, you know, they cater to the addictions in your life. But pay attention when all of that is not happening. That's when you need to be paying attention. Watch them. Listen. Okay? It can't be when you dizzy and they done slip something in your drink and you ain't seeing straight. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Pay attention. This is going to start to give you a little bit of clues, okay? And a big one is, like I just said, karmics will betray their own family. And even if you're unsure of someone or whatever the situation is, it's actually not even relevant. Because if you just look at that for what it is, what type of a family would sell out their own family? We have to start asking the deeper questions. What, you know, who, who does that? Like, whether it's a friend or a family member, like somebody close, right? Karmics typically will do that if there's something to be gained. If I'm telling y'all, if there's something to be gained, whether it is they, like I said, they always wanted to feel like they were chosen, or they were seen, or this will help their clout, or in some cases it's vindictiveness when there's sibling rivalry, but they pretend it ain't there, or what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. It's a reason. And then if they got the karmic family and friends to kind of co-sign, chances are that's all they energies. And we don't be wanting to believe it, because in a healthy world, who operates like that? Who, right? Who? But it's real. Divines do not operate that way. Even usually, now I have to say this, usually, even through their own fuck shit, you know what I'm saying? Even through their own fumbles through life, there's certain things about divines that they just don't. Okay? They got their issues like everybody else. They have to work through their pains and struggles and tendencies and like anybody else. But this is how you can differentiate. A question had came to mind, because some people will say, well, what is betrayal? Some people kind of like want to play with that. But one thing that could help you, collective, is first and foremost, just being an adult and wise, understanding that no matter what, there's always more to the story. It is. There's always more. And if an individual's not there to speak for themselves, then chances are there's a whole lot more to the story. Okay? That's number one. Number two, even in, the more like lighter situations where maybe it's not a severe betrayal to the, a severe extent. There was this movie called, it's old. I wish I could remember it, but anyway, it's this older movie. Well, Diane Keaton was in it, Sarah Jessica Parker, Claire Danes, and it was about a mom that had cancer. She was dying, and her family, and yada yada, right? And so in this movie, there was two brothers and two sisters that was pretty much highlighted, and it was switched. Like one of the sisters, okay, Sarah Jessica Parker's character was getting ready to be engaged to one of the family's sons, right? Well, okay, it was all crazy, yada yada. I don't want to get into it. Okay. Then towards the end, she got her sister to come to this gathering because she felt like she was kind of ganged up on. She felt like they didn't like her, his family and stuff like that. Well, so the sister came, and like through all of this, the twist is that the guy that Sarah Jessica Parker was supposed to be getting engaged to fell for her sister, and then his brother fell for Sarah Jessica Parker, right? And so it got all crazy, right? Well, but they didn't really like cross lines to like a major extent. The point that I'm making is that even in such situations, there is an integral way. And the way you can determine the difference between more innocent type scenarios like that in which I'm mentioning here in that movie versus the karmic situations. Karmics are vindictive, they lack compassion or concern for anyone other than themselves. So they do not care about doing things with integrity. They wouldn't care about making sure, like if it happened on an accident, like some may try to lie and say or whatever, like, oh, it was an accident, or oh, I didn't know, or okay, yeah. Right. Right? If that was the case, there would have been, you know what I'm saying, when it happens, it's like, okay, well, let's make this right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it happened. Maybe it's not kosher, but you know what I'm saying? Let's do this with integrity. You know what I'm saying? And then there's no weight of disgrace or feeling like karma or feeling like, you know, you got to be slithery and slick and hiding in the woods and shit. You know what I'm saying? Right? See, it's the very nature of that that gives away the intention. The very nature of that is already speaking volumes that it was intended. It was all intended to possibly hurt the divines. Okay? It was all intended, you know what I'm saying, to try to steal something, delay something. Right? Otherwise, things would have been done with integrity. People would have been saying, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you need to tell them they, you know, it is just and it's fair for them to know. Consider yourself. And if you guys want to be together, you can be together. But you know, if you don't want Thor's hammer coming for that ass, you know what I'm saying? Even if it hurts, you know, people of integrity would be speaking integral things. They would be saying, you know, yeah, it may hurt, it may, you know, it's uncomfortable, but you know what I'm saying? Everything that's in the dark comes to light eventually anyway. So it's like, if you want, you know, balance in your life or want to feel like you can move forward, then that's your route to go. That's the pill to swallow if that's what's happening. And you see that like in that movie, you know what I'm saying? It's like, sure, it's not ideal, sure, but it happens, okay? So those are some clues, bright souls, okay? Just start paying attention for yourself. Don't get stargazed, okay? Start checking your own, you know, tender spots so that you can see how people have been able to come in and infiltrate your life and get you on paths that maybe you don't want to be in and get you entangled in things that you know what I'm saying? And yeah, all right? All right, bright souls, I appreciate y'all. Send y'all love and light. I will be back, I think, tonight to do the 11. I think they said 11, the top 11. So, and I'm gonna like bullet them. I'm probably even like do the list in the description box and all of that stuff for you guys. But it's something to take with you as you go on in your journey. Okay, trying to clear your own energy and clear your life of this. Okay, and I know I'm not gonna make light of it. It feels very challenging and especially if it's people that you have known most of your life, or if it's with family members, or you know what I'm saying, baby mama, baby daddy, husbands and wives. Yes, all those individuals could possibly be karmic, absolutely. Okay. But when you get to that phase where you realize that, when you start seeing that loop, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I know how that feels. But know that it serves you, because there's no healing, there's no cleansing, and there's no balancing as long as we stay attached to karmic energy. Because first and foremost, you're going to keep absorbing their karma. Second of all, they're going to keep trying to strategize. Third of all, they're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you keep that attachment, they're always strategizing. It's never a moment they're not. Especially if they sense that you are ready to let them go, or they sense that you're trying to heal and change, and you know what I'm saying? And so you won't be able to truly rest and relax and heal. And what I started doing on my journey, when I started realizing certain things, I started seeing stuff about people, family, situations. I started setting intentions and really getting close to source and my spirit guides. I was like, all right, well, my intention then is creating a sacred space for me, to give myself enough space and time, however that looked for me, to be able to cleanse my energy, to be able to tap within, to be able to get clear without being convoluted by, you know, the Walking Dead, the hackling hens, trying to distract me, trying to, you know. And that's like, that was the first step, you know what I'm saying? And then it just kind of kept escalating where, you know, things kind of became more and more realized of the severity and the extent these individuals had went to try to bring hurt and pain and destruction, basically, and to steal. But I would have never known that. I would have never known, I promise you this. I would not have never been able to really see that as long as I stayed in that. As long as I kept second guessing. My spirit guides, like I want to say earlier last year, they kept showing me a certain person, a certain name, over and over as I was doing some healing, right? And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Well, I didn't think that much of it, because with this particular person, I didn't want to think it was my family. I didn't want to think. I was like, okay, yeah. But then eventually, they finally got me there. But see, you see where I'm going? It was only because I had to be separated, though. Because karmics are very manipulative, and they're usually some kind of spell work or chant or some shit. Prayer. If they're the more religious ones, they do the prayer, right? So, it's, you know, these are little basic things for those of you who are starting this journey for yourself that can help you. And I know it can feel uncomfortable, but it's going to serve you, you know, in ways you will later, at some point in your life, be so grateful for, okay, that you did. All right, you guys. Talk to you guys later. Hopefully, I'll be on late tonight. I'm hoping, if I'm not busy, to come on and go and give y'all that 11, top 11, karmics, decoding the karmics, top 11 tactics that they use to keep you trapped, that they use to keep you away from counterparts, from divine beings, from your soul tribe, from your healing, from your ascension, and from your transformation. Okay? All right. Send you guys love and light. Namaste.